This little blockbuster production is for the benefit of David Renaud Kessler, who asked me about the problems of getting the right names of people to talk to when talking to businesses and so on. And I think he'd already seen month 6 of Ask Drayton, which takes apart a complete campaign selling to business. But I didn't touch upon one or two things in that particular month. So if I may have mentioned them elsewhere, but even if I didn't, I'm going to mention them now. The first thing to remember about selling to business is that, in my view anyhow, it's much easier in some ways than selling to consumers. And there are several reasons for this. The first is that there is a lot more profit involved in each transaction, generally speaking. Even the profit margins on quite small things, such as little flash drives and so on, are huge. Yeah? And you get to larger items or larger things or whatever. The largest I ever sold was, or tried to sell or helped to sell, was the Airbus when it first came out. You're talking about millions of pounds worth of profit. Now, the thing is, yes, there are huge margins involved. That's one thing. So that's good. You've got more money to play with. The second thing to remember is that people do not wake up in the morning and say, I think I'm going to buy a new aircraft. So when you've got these huge products, hugely expensive products, complicated products, it takes quite a long time to sell them. So you've got to think long term. I've talked elsewhere about the fact that most marketers are bloody stupid at some length. And I've put up a graph on one occasion that showed that about half the sales that most people get through sales forces come after the second follow-up. They come all the way up to the 8th or 9th follow-up. So most people give up after 2 follow-ups. It's a well-known fact that the most successful salesmen are the ones that persist, and the most successful marketers are the ones that persist. And if you're talking about something that involves a lot of money, you have to send a lot of follow-ups, yeah? You have to keep going. The good side, another good part of it is this. People are not spending their own money, they're spending the company's money. Unless you're actually the owner of a company like I am, and I'm a complete cheapskate. If you're not the owner, then, it's other people's money, what the hell. I used to be horrified at the way people threw money around at Ogilvy and Mather because it wasn't their money, and no longer was it my money. But when I was running my own agency, if I'd known what they were doing, I would have had a heart attack. So there you are. It's not their own money. Another benefit is this, that if you're comparing even something like a car, if you're comparing a Citroen with a Renault or a Toyota with a Mazda or whatever, honestly, they're very, very similar. It's very hard to find significant differences. Generally speaking, when you're selling things to businesses, the products and services do have significant differences. They're more complicated. So there's more to talk about. And you need to talk about a lot more, because the more you sell, the more you tell, the more you sell. Yeah? Okay? So the more you tell, the more you sell. The longer you keep following up, the better you'll do. And there are good things to talk about. There's more money there, and so on. What is the problem? Well, every problem is an opportunity, as they say. The problem is that each person that you're selling to has a different motivation. And the classic I gave in one of my books, I said, okay, the chairman asks, are these the right sort of people we should be dealing with? The managing director, or as they call them, chief executive officer now, because this is known as titular inflation. As we go on, people's titles get grander and grander and grander and grander. He's more concerned about how will it do for the business, yeah? The operations director is concerned about how will it work, The salesman is going to ask, is it easy to sell? The financial director is going to say, does it make sense financially? Are we going to make a pot of money? Is it a good investment? And there's also the people who actually do the job. They are the people who are very rarely asked, by the way. The people down on the ground floor actually have to use it. All these people have different motivations. Now, you may say that's a very that's quite a complicated, makes things complicated. Yes, it does make things complicated, but it makes them more effective. You can take a letter, and I'm going to say this is not copy, it's just very ordinary copy, but it works. If I begin a letter selling something that says, as a financial director, you above all are concerned in whether things are good value for money. Are they good investments? Then you go along and sell the thing. And then you as the managing director are obviously concerned as to whether something really works for your business. Well, let me explain. You see, that's him. You're the person who has to run these things. This is to the operations person. You want to know, do they work? Let me tell you about how efficient did I. I mean, I'm making up copy. The point I would like to make to you is that every experience I've ever had shows that if you address people in a segmented fashion like that, this is really the value of a database, yeah? Then you get far greater responses. Anything up to 5 times greater we found when we did segmentations by different professions, yeah? So there's a great opportunity to talk to people as individuals. Now, my client, Mr. Renaud Kessler, Monsieur Renaud Kessler, I don't know where you come from. You may be English or American, who knows, you may be Swiss. Anyhow, you don't have my problems, believe me. You asked about, what do you do? Can you just write to the CEO if you don't have all these names? And my answer to that is, yes, you can write to the CEO. But my second answer to that is it really will pay you. It doesn't cost you a lot of money to do telephone research if you're selling something that has a significant margin of profit, which, as I suggest, it probably has. And most of the other things I have to say about this subject are in month 6 of our Straighten. And if you don't actually belong to our Straighten, if you're not a member, many people say it's $29 a month. It's the best deal you'll ever get in your life, but not around for long because the price really is going up. I keep on going on to Al to put the price up to the full price, but why not keep doing you a favour? Have a look, go down here, click on the link, down here I sometimes say, click on the link, see what you think. Remember that you nothing to lose. If you don't like the damn thing, if you don't think it's as good as I say, you don't have to, you can get your money back. Full money back guarantee, no problems. Thanks for joining me.